SNX Radio invites you to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos with us as we dive into UFOs, cryptids, and everything otherworldly. As we navigate the night, we investigate the unknowns that spark our curiosity and challenge our understanding of reality.
Turn it up, let's go! ColeyUFO in the cockpit live. If you're ready for the truth, throw your hands up high! Truth beyond disclosure. Lights in the sky take over. Coley got the buzz, it's a takeover. Everybody in the club yelling, show us! Truth beyond disclosure. We want facts, we want closure. Hands up if you're tired of the cover. This is the sound of the secrets uncovered. Yo, radar lock, but they don't see nothing. Hometown kids saw the triangle hovering. Phone in his hand, got the whole thing filmed. Next day gone like it fell in a kiln. Black fans creeping, sir that's a star, but his zigzag snaps like a muscle car. There's a base badge flash. Don't take pics till the hanger got craft that can break physics. Loose spin tight with the same 10 lines, but the pilot can't sleep, see the same 3 lights. Briefed in a room, this meeting ain't happened. Sign this paper, mine gets flattened. Flip that script when Coley goes live. Pull a tape back, play a slow rewind. Every in a blur, in a gray enhanced. Got a whole damn world in a trance like truth beyond disclosure. Lights in the sky take over. Coley got the violence, so take over. Everybody in the club yelling, show. Truth beyond disclosure. No place, oh no. Put your hands up if you're tired in the cover. It's the sound of the secrets uncovered.
Yeah, I know what I saw, don't gaslight me. Whole block froze when it slid low key. Silent silver hanging over my street. Then it shot straight up like it skipped through beats. Grandma told tales, but they called her wild. Same marks on her arm since she was a child. Same humming in her bones when the sky turns steel. Sleep towel, visit her, stepping into her dreams. Foul that gun, fierce screeches like out. To the truth leak loud from a single shout. Cold case photo, same bright sphere. Different decade, ain't still the same damn fear. You can scrub that feed, you can spin that feed, but had to stay sharp like a laser beam. Coley in the booth, bring receipts, stack proof. Whole crowd chant when he hits that truth light.
Hands up if you see strange lights.
Hands up if you heard them lie.
Hands up if you know we're classified.
Now scream if you want that fire.
Hands up if you see strange lights. Hands up
If you heard them lie.
Hands up if you know we're
Classified. Now scream if you want that fire.
When I say Coley, you say UFO. Coley, UFO. Coley, UFO. When I say truth, you say let's go. Truth, let's go. Truth, let's go. From the base to the blade to the back road, sighting to the jet cam clip, but a tic tac comment from the doc in the lab with the medevac plus. Take a late night show where the story begins. This our time, this our show. Turn it up loud on this next radio. If you want that file, better make that noise. Whole world sing with a million voices, 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 truth beyond disclosure. Truth beyond disclosure. Lights in the sky take over. Coley got the vibes, you
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SNX Radio. I was mixing some new jams, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So, as always, there's always a delay. Why? If you're new to watching, it's because I'm dropping the link live. So, I have, a bigger following on Twitter or X, depending on, which Twix, I guess you can call it too. But Facebook too, and getting it in the groups because I want to get everybody the biggest audience possible. So, that's what I'm doing. I appreciate everybody bearing with me. So, welcome everybody in chat. I saw Kitty Catty Whack was here. That's so awesome. I'm going to go through and see who we got going on here tonight. Hope everybody's enjoying. It's so weird. I'm having a hard time even keeping the days straight. Like with Christmas and everything, it just everything's so thrown off. So, but it's so great to see everybody here. And I know I saw names coming up. Midnight Mark 22. Hey, yeah, I'm going to update too on the whole Corey. I know that he wants to come on too, so I'll have to get back and I'll definitely let you know, Mark. Sorry. I kind of have a little bit of a scratchy throat, so you just kind of have to bear with me tonight. But yeah, mother or little, gosh, what is this? Give me a second here. For some reason, the chat just disappeared. And I want to see everybody, and I can't even see the chat just disappeared. And you can see on screen that it's totally stagnant too. So, I don't know what's going on here. I can't even see any of it. This is crazy. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. I think I got you guys back. Okay. Creepy culture. Okay, yes. Hey, Kurt W75, Mad Paximus. Thank goodness. Yes. For it just like totally, and I couldn't even see it on the screen, which was weird too. So, yes, everybody, if I missed you, hi, John. I definitely will get back to you or make it up to you. So, without further ado, I was sent, I'll give you a little bit of a background on this. I was sent by somebody on Facebook. They're showing me these doorbell cams, and they're catching, orbs on there like I've never seen before. And it was so, I looked through them, and they were so intriguing. And so, I definitely wanted, I asked him if he wanted to come on because he wanted to know what I thought of them. And I thought, man, what better way to find out than to put it in front of the audience? I was like, my audience is great. They're really knowledgeable, on things like that. But yeah, this will be a great show tonight. So I'm just getting in here and pulling up a little bit about him. So he's a psychic medium who provide clear, specific evidence from loved ones who have passed on. So he's also a medium, which I'm really excited learning more. And he's a remote viewer. So that fascinates me. I'm definitely not a remote viewer, but I know people who are, and it's very compelling, and I would love to learn more about that. So he believes we are spiritual beings born with natural psychic abilities. His mission is to help people develop their intuition, become comfortable with it, and empower themselves on a spiritual path. So without further ado, let's bring Tim the medium on. Hello, did I get that correct? Oh, your audio. Oh, let me see. You're just muted. I'll unmute you. There you go. Now you should be all right.
All right. Yeah, everything was perfect. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for the very nice introduction.
Oh, yeah, I see. This is exciting. And, he said that I said about coming on and everything. This is going to be great. That we're all going to make him feel super welcome. He thought he might be a little nervous on here. I said, oh, no way. They'll love your evidence, and I'm telling you, this will be an absolute breeze. So we want you to have the best time ever here.
Sure.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? You're into the paranormal, you're medium. The remote viewing is so impressive. We'll start there.
Sure. I do what is called scientific remote viewing. I work out of a place out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I do projects for them. I still school with them. I school every week. We do projects every week. Every project is different. Every project is unique. Remote viewing is unique all by itself, right? That goes without saying. That's kind of the cool thing about it. It's not the same as the only thing that I will say is I do what is called the evidential mediumship. It's a little different than psychic mediumship. I also do what is called physical mediumship and a little bit of trance mediumship as sprinkled in as well while I do my sessions. So there's a little bit of other things going on at the same time.
Can you explain what the difference is? Like as a medium, I'm wondering, like, what is the difference
Sure.
between? Yes, can you explain that?
Absolutely. Evidential mediumship is everything that I produce has to come from the other side. So what it is what they produce, I have to understand, and I have to produce it to the client that I'm working with of what their family member is specifically saying. So they won't bring in one or two things, they'll bring in 51 things throughout the hour long session. Now, the client across from me is the key to the session because they have to understand where they're going with the conversation, where the spirit world or the spirit in particular is going to, what they're going to be talking about and what they're going to be talking about. I'll just give you an example, maybe. So if there's an issue in the family after dad passed, and this is dad that I've got from the other side, and he's coming in and saying, well, it's not sister that's causing the problems, it's actually the brother-in-law that's causing the trouble with the sister. Dad's going to come in and tell the client that, and then it goes into wherever they want to take it from the other side. That's going to be the start of that particular conversation. So it's a little different than psychic mediumship that way, as you would probably know that.
Yeah, no, I see. I do mine a little bit different. A channeler is the label that you probably. I don't let them get that close though. I don't like that. That's how my communication.
Yeah,
So I keep them very much at arm's length.
yeah.
Definitely.
Channel, yeah, channeling is still a little bit different than what I do, but it's close. It does sprinkle in there. It is similar to channeling, but it's not precisely channeling. It's different now. Here, they can also ask the spirit world inside the session questions. Very few do that type of work. It's unique. It's different, but the response of what they produce right after the question is asked is directly related to the scenario that they're asking about, and the answer that the spirit world produces is very cool and very unique. They will tell them the direction, and then they give validation right behind that, that is everything to what the answer to the question was, right? So there, it's almost like when you do remote viewing, you do it blind. This is very similar to that. So there's backing to everything that you produce from the other side. So nothing will ever come from the medium. Nothing ever comes from me, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm,
So,
I'm,
what do you
I'm.
think of? Have you ever heard of this? Amy Murphy. She comes on here a lot, and she does mirror Scott. Oh gosh, she always has to tell me before how to say it. Square. Where she like literally goes into the mirror to do her medium like ship.
Okay,
It's
okay.
oh god, I can't even think of what it's called right off the top of my head. But yeah, have you heard of anything like that? I mean, that to me, she said like I don't know. She does a TV show up in Canada, but it
Okay.
is like I just never. Have you heard of? That doesn't sound like it would be a good thing to do, but Amy's so down to earth and so it's just her thing.
If you go back to old school mediumship, back in the day, back in the 50s, 60s, things like that. I've heard of that back then, but I haven't heard anybody doing it here. That's the first person I ever heard about it doing it here with the mirror and going into things like that. That's a little different. I don't know anybody personally that does that. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, no, she comes on the show. She's gonna be coming back on. I'll have to send you everything Amy underscore Amy. You would yeah, it would be cool to have a panel of us on together, like too, like different types of mediums. I'm very interested because the more I get into it, the more I'm realizing like it's an umbrella. It's not just it
Yeah,
doesn't mean one thing.
that's the hardest thing. When you're working with other mediums, And not all mediumship is the same. It's not even remotely close. It's quite different, and it's unique to every medium. Not only do we receive differently, the mediumistic work or the mediumship is different for every medium, right?
Oh, it's
So,
scrying or scrying.
yeah,
Mere scrying. Thank you,
you're,
Kurt, and thank you. Yeah.
yeah,
We had two people in the chat. They're like, oh, I just, yeah, I could not. And Little Mother of Demons. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of it. It was like on the tip of my, yeah. So that's, you have heard of that then?
I've never heard of the terminology before, but I have seen somebody do that old school with the mirror. That kind of was before I started my journey, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I blew that off as to that's just too heavy for me. I'm not right. And
Right?
I didn't I at that point I didn't even know what a medium was, to be honest with you. And right, that was back when I was younger. But so no, I've never run across anybody that's done scribing. That's what you called it, scribing?
Um, grass. I had it just a minute ago. It,
Sorry.
yeah. No, no, no. You're fine. You're fine. I just shifted out of it because Amy, I'll always ask her before. I'll be like, "Can you tell me again how?" Because it looks different. It's is it scrying or scrying? Scry, something like that. You wouldn't think she's told me 50 times either because she has. But I think that's how he's. But every time before, I'm like, Amy, okay, how is it said again? Because it just seems foreign to me. Like I've
Yeah.
never heard of scrying. I think is what I think
Mhm.
it's scrying, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna stake my life on it or anything.
Right. No, you know what? It is what it is, and clearly she's got a niche for it because they let her work there, right? So that's really cool. Like those things are unique. That is super interesting.
Yeah, it's so specific to Amy. Amy, I'll have to I'll send you her YouTube and yeah, it'd be cool if we had a. I think this is great because she does paranormal stuff. And she does a TV show. Like she does a few different TV shows. Like one, she's like, like this cook, but she's kind of learning how to cook. And then this other one, like by night, she's like this paranormal. She's got everything. Fits everything, Amy. But she's really cool. She does these paranormal things, and like she has like she brings her equipment on. And it's just like I don't know. Do you use any of like the equipment, like the EVPs or like a K2 meter or anything like that.
Nothing like
Nothing.
that.
Some
No,
people don't, not unless you like are
no.
actually, going out and doing the hunt. So
Right.
you don't usually have that. But
Yeah, no. I do nothing. I need nothing. I do nothing. I just dial in just like an old radio in an old car. Just not the press buttons, but the dialing in. And my benefit is I can always see them. That's my benefit.
yeah.
So the description's quite easy and it's quite quick to understand for the client to who's showed up for them, right? And
Can
then
you
then we're
tell?
away.
Can you tell, like, I know when Amy and I, like, even or anytime I'm around, like, somebody else who's a medium, there's, like, an energy. It's almost like a repelling energy at first, but then it kind of, like, I don't know how to explain it. But when you come around, like, another medium, does it trigger, like, some of your senses? Because you're both kind of, able to see at that same realm.
I don't here. This is how I explain that to you. I don't typically dial in or walk around dial in. Do I? Can I read everybody? Can I go into the mall and read people? I can do that. I don't do that. It's
No,
something
I
I'm
don't
not
do
into,
that either.
right?
No, but I'm saying in like a case like
Yeah.
this where you're on
Uh,
you
um,
know what I mean?
no, typically not. No, no, I don't. I don't typically pay attention. Others might, but I don't pay attention because I still get to see the real world while I'm here, right? And
Yeah.
when you
Oh,
do, and when
definitely.
you, yeah. So but
No, I didn't
no, I
know if
don't.
you felt a different energy shift. Not so much seeing, but like a
Yeah,
different, like, there's just, I don't know how to explain it.
I would say on occasion, but not very often. I'll give you a scenario. One time I was walking across or walking on a street, and I forget what city I was in, even for that matter. And this lady from across the street stopped and looked at me, and I looked at her, and we both knew we did the work. And that was the extent of my um, running into people who, and I knew right away, and it was a bizarre. This was 20 years ago though, and I still
Oh,
remember
wow.
like it was 20 minutes ago, right? And she just stood there and looked at me, and I just looked at her, and we were across the street from one another. It was a unique experience, and yeah. But other than that, not on a
That's
regular
crazy,
basis.
those times. I
Yeah,
remember some lady, she knew that I could, she's like, you can see, can't you? Like, and I didn't say a word, like, 'cause she was really wanting information about her grandmother. And she all like, out, and I was like, wow, how did, it was my friend's neighbor. My friend knew, because obviously she's been friends with me, but the neighbor
right.
didn't. And she was just like, she saw, I don't know. It was interesting though.
That's a unique experience when you get somebody coming up to you like that.
Yeah, like
That'll
they
say that.
know, it's like, oh
Yeah,
God, like, how do you know,
yeah.
because
I
it's
usually
just,
run away from that stuff.
yeah, right. It was really, it was uncomfortable. I mean, like a little bit, definitely. So, you go from this, you get a lot of remote viewing. I mean, and then these orbs, you have to give people a little bit of a background on these because these are fascinating, like fascinating. And I'm not even, like, they're communicating. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
they're obviously coming to you.
yeah. It's how it all started was I have uh, plants in the front of my house, and this was all on my doorbell cameras, and they were sitting on both sides of my. I have plants on both sides of the door, right? And they were sitting in there, and they were just like the orbs as they were sitting, and then they take off, and they were just sat there. And it happened in the back of the house as well. And I just thought to myself, "Oh, that's weird. I never thought anything of it." But this is how it all started. And all of a sudden, they started moving, and it was like, and then they went into the sky, and then they went into my trees in the backyard, and then they would park beside my truck or close to my vehicle, and that's when I really started paying attention. It was I don't know what to say. This has been going on for an extended period of time. Now every this has been going on for almost 4 months. Now in the last month, that's when they've started to take breaks. So there was like 4 or 5 days at a time. Sometimes they wouldn't show up, and I would say, "Where are you guys at? Like, come on back! Don't leave me hanging here."
Kind of missed them.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was kind of like that because you get used to them every night. Because
I get
I go to
that.
my,
Yeah.
bl- yeah, I go to my Blink recordings every day, and I wait for these things because, like, what are they going to show me today, right? And where are they going to be?
Oh,
And
that's cool.
it's always something different. But that's how it started. I didn't at the beginning. I really didn't know what they were. I just thought they were animals or something. I just didn't pay attention. I didn't give it any thought. And then they started moving, and that's when I realized, oh boy, I better pay attention to this. Yeah. And that's how it all began. And it continues to right to last night, actually. And they were here again last night. Yeah. But only in
Wow.
one side of the house last night, right? Usually, most of the time in those 4 months, they've come to both sides of the house, front and back, every night. Now, in lately, what's happening is they've taken 4 or 5 days off sometimes, and now they'll come to only one side of the house. But then they'll come right to the deck again in the back, which they haven't done that in a period of time. So now they're moving things around more so than ever, I think. And I don't know the reason. I don't understand anything why they're doing what they're doing, or why they're in a different area, or why they would be doing things like that. But it's very interesting to watch them.
Yeah. So I think we should just pull a video. Like, do you want to give some, any like background on it before, I mean, like with each like scenario, or I guess you can give commentary.
Sure,
Oh,
I'll
it just
I'll do
got
that.
logged out of here a second. Hold on. Let's see here. Of course. I'm gonna try it this way because I think I do So when you're looking out on those, right? I'm looking at trees. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
seeing? Okay, so I'm just
yeah,
making sure that I have the right one. So
yeah.
look down at the screen. Can you see that below before I add it to the stage? Here, I'll just add it
Yeah,
really quick. Is that you? This is right.
yeah, that's my front yard. And if you look at those two little plants right in the front by my walkway there, that's where they started. Where are we here? Okay, yes. And that's just one of them. That's how they present themselves. They either come down or they'll go up. They'll be in different areas. They'll start in a corner. They'll move
Let's show
across
them
the screen.
exactly where. So tell me as soon as I get to the point of where because so
Look
everybody
at the
sees.
top. Yeah, look at the top of your screen, the middle top, and it'll come down. The
Okay, you
orb
know what?
comes down.
I think that there's something in the. Let me see if I can get this off of the screen. So I think there's something in the way.
Sure.
Now I should be able to. Okay. So that should I don't know how you're seeing it in your end, but this should work. Okay. So see if I can play this again. All right, now I can. And so let me know as soon as you see them. You're saying they're coming down from the top, so
Yeah,
everybody should have
mid,
a clear.
middle top. There it is.
Okay,
And
there
it
it
just,
is.
yeah, it comes down. Now, if you look, it goes to the right of your screen. And I think it continued to the right. I'm not sure if that one did,
So
but
this
it'll
is
go
it
right.
right here,
Yeah,
right? Like above.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes they'll go from where that is, or they'll even start on the left side of the screen and it'll go shooting across the screen, or it'll come down that way. Yeah,
Okay,
they
so
do
we're gonna
different.
pull another one. These get even. I'm excited to show. Oh boy, like I couldn't believe when I saw it for myself. I was like, wow, this is. Now I have to figure out how I exit out of here so I can. Okay, hold on 1 second. There we go. Um, I've not. I hate to even admit it. I'm adding the file that you're sending me, so I've never done that before. Usually, I just share the screen, but I'm gonna try it this way and see. If not, I can go in, or if you have any other ones that you want me to pull. I mean, because these are really cool. They really are
Yeah,
cool.
I just went brushed over some and I just sent you some. Now, on my blink cameras, front and back, I don't know how they stay existent for because there's a lot that have been eliminated or deleted already by blink because I think they only last like 90 days or 60 days.
Okay,
I
is
don't
that what's
know.
okay? I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I don't know because there's still some that I'm sure have been, after so many days, they just delete them, right? I probably
Right.
can get them back from Blink because I'm sure they're recorded somewhere on Blink,
You
and I don't
should
think
get
they're,
those back.
um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because there's some like if you look at the two bushes in the front, not the big bushes, the two little bushes, they used to sit in each one of those bushes and just sit there, and I didn't know what they were, and I just like whatever. I just deleted those at the beginning, right? It was just like I don't know what that is, but
Right.
it could be a cat or something. I didn't really know. It was new, right? And then all this stuff started to happen where they started to fly around and sit in my trees in the backyard and come to my deck and be on the ground. And then like they did the same thing. I have plants in the back like this in the back, and that's how it started back there too. They would sit in those plants back there. And then they started going
I've
into the
got a
trees.
better way to share it now. I've got a better way to share it. So I'm going to share it from over on Facebook now. So this will be better. I didn't even see all the ones that you had sent. So yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
just
No,
wanted
no,
to,
that's okay. That's
I'm going to get
absolutely
this on
okay.
here for you. Yeah, no, this is exciting. So this is another one. We didn't see this one yet, right? I don't think so.
This is in the front. I
Oh, there he
missed it.
comes right
There it
down.
is. Yeah, there's another one like that, and it comes right down from the middle top again. There's a bunch like that. They're not all the same. They don't come from the same place all the time. They come from completely different places.
And then, yeah, I'm gonna let them play for a minute here and see.
Sure.
'Cause I think they're gonna go one to the next. So here it is. Is that it over there? Then
That's
moving.
that was another one, yeah. It started in the middle of the screen again.
Yeah.
I wish it would start spreading themselves out to where they would come from different places so people would think that, no, it's not. Right? But
And
they
they
do
come
that.
inside, right? You have them.
They come right to my deck, right on my deck. Yeah. These are all straight down the middle from the front, which is because sometimes they'll come from the left side of the corner and they'll go right across the screen, right to the far right of the screen. They'll do that. They'll sit by my driveway is empty there because my truck usually sits there, my vehicle sits there, and they'll come right beside my vehicle or they'll go under my vehicle and I'll see them,
There's,
right?
oh,
And they'll
you can
just
see.
sit
They'll
there.
actually go under your vehicle, and you can see them
Yeah.
with your naked eye.
You can, well, I can't see them because, and I get up in the middle of the night all the time and I try to look for these things and I can never see them. I've never witnessed them with my naked eye. But on the video, I can see them that they sit because nothing sits, there's nothing like that, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, these are all pretty much the same. I'm not sure if these are the same ones or not.
So explain how, so how often does this happen? And it's at different times, right? It's not just like at
No, it
same hour.
happens. No, it happens different times. Usually it starts at about 11 o'clock and it'll go till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then it'll go from anywhere from 11 till 3. I have all the times on my blink here and they're all different. None of them are relatively close to the same. There are some, like there's 11 o'clock, 11:03, 11:10, 10:58, 10:55, 3:32, 3:01. 2:56, 2:54, 11:15, 2:49. So they vary. They're within probably 20 minutes of each other in their time frame, right? Or 30 minutes from each other in their time frame that they present
Yeah.
themselves, but never really at the same specific moment in time, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. So then take us a step further into some of these because you're like they're not showing up and you've like kind of cultivated a rapport and like I don't know how else to explain it, but I get that. Like, where I've gone into haunted places before where you have some sort of attachment to, whatever it is. Even like ET when it was coming and I was experiencing all these crafts when they wouldn't come. I like missed that. Like I missed that part of it.
It is like that actually because once upon a time, about a month and a half or 2 months ago, they missed 3 days, and I'm going like, you guys got to be kidding! You guys got to come back! Like I got to see this some more, right? And they did, and they didn't stop coming back. But lately, this last month, they've been sparse. So it's been they missed like 4 or 5 days. I'm not even sure what it was, and it was like, oh my God, I'm hoping for you guys to come back. I need you guys to come back, and I'm saying this to myself like, I don't want you guys to go away. And sure enough, day 4, day 5, whatever it was, they were back. Yeah. And they actually came to the front. So they've also been only coming to the front or the back, not both. Usually they come to the front of the house and the back of the house every night. So it's different, but they're always in different spots, which is unique, right? And they'll come right to the deck. I have a tree that's right off the deck, just a small, it's about 8 foot tall. And they'll sit in this tree and then they'll take off. They'll shoot up into the sky.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. That is
Yeah,
so
it
cool.
is. And like on the
So
deck.
what do you think that they are? Do you think I mean, I've asked you, do you think they're fairies? Do you think that they're, because you see orbs with paranormal, you see them with ET, you see them, I mean, orbs are across the spectrum with
I know.
everything.
I don't know what they are. I don't know. I could go into a little bit of a backstory, but that's probably too heavy. I don't know. Like I have a belief that They're not just orbs. They're not just here to play games. They're here for something. They just don't do that. It's not normal. Not every night. Not on the deck. Not right. So
Right. And I
there's
asked you too, like, to be fair enough, like, has anybody recently passed in your family or in the
no,
neighborhood? Or, okay.
no, nothing like that. This is a new. Actually, I just moved here in May to this home, right?
Okay.
So this is now when I moved here, none of this was happening, but it just started happening, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
go back, say August, I don't even know, I can't even do the math, but if you go back from December, go back 4 months, and that's when it started. So it didn't start right when I moved in. It waited about 3 months before it started. So the only people I really know are my immediate neighbors, and everybody's very pleasant, and nobody's talked to me about anything like this. Then I'm scared to walk up to them and say, "Hey, have you seen these orbs all over the place?" I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a little
I
nervous about
would.
doing.
I could do it in a second, but I get how some people might not be very comfortable with that.
Right. So I haven't done that. And so nobody's come up to me and said anything. I mean, they think I'm weird because of what I do anyway. So I mean, they're not,
Yo, then what the heck do you have to lose?
right. So yeah, no,
You
good
might as
point.
well
I didn't
just, throw it all out there.
finish it up. Yeah. No, they
Oh
haven't.
yeah, I'm the crazy UFO lady in my community, and it's not that big where they don't all, and it's like all streamed on my Facebook with my family. You just kind of got over it, like, but everywhere I went, I had to ask. I did.
Yeah. No, I haven't asked anybody. And
I don't blame
if I do get a chance though, your prodding is probably going to make me do that now. You know that, right?
you.
And it'll
Yeah,
probably be
see, they'll lead to questions.
well. And so, but going back to your question, nobody's passed in my family. Um, Good friends, no. Um, Anybody in the area, I wouldn't know. I don't believe it has to do with that. I believe it has to do with other things. I just believe that. Um, it's my yeah. I think it has to do with them visiting. I certainly think it has to do with specifically that, but I don't know the reason. I don't know that yet. That's why when they don't show up, I'm like, I don't know why you haven't. Why I don't know why you're showing up, right?
Right.
So that's the part I'm curious about because I don't want them to leave without finding out why they're here. Okay,
Oh,
because
so you're
that intrigues.
concerned for them too. Like, you have some genuine did you have that right from the start with them? Like, did you know, were you afraid? Or did you feel like a sense of, like, I'm
This
connected
isn't.
to these?
This is my first experience with UFOs.
Oh,
I've
see,
seen. I've seen two crafts long time while I was growing up. Once was with my son, driving down a highway. We stopped. I says, "Look at that. That's not moving." And he just sat there, and that was definitely a UFO because nothing hovers, and I could see it clear enough. It was probably 2 football fields away, and it was close enough that I could see it, but it wasn't a helicopter or anything like that. And we just sat there and looked at it for I don't know 10 minutes,
did you know that's a
and then
thing? That mediums, like, there's not one ET experiencer, like real true experiencer that I know that was not a medium before or didn't develop it, like Jeff Silver. And there was one other one that, shortly after that they
yeah,
developed the ability of mediumship. Like, it
right.
is a thing.
Well, the backstory to that is like if you do and when and I so when we do remote viewing projects, we do some pretty wild projects that I typically don't talk about with anybody nor the general public. This is a little different. I'll offer this up just because I'm on a podcast. Is we do a lot of stuff that revolves around aliens and so on because that's just part of what the projects are, and they want to find out data from that stuff. So we do a lot of that stuff. It's not uncommon to work with them. That's what I will tell you. So in that respect, it's even from the backstories to when I was younger to this that's happening now to remote viewing to having an understanding a little more of what's reality on the planet as opposed to what's not reality on the planet, what the
Yeah. So
general public gets to know.
you're.
So
I have to ask really quickly, like the orbs. There was a couple questions that I missed. Real quickly, do they only appear at night, or do you see them at other times?
I've only seen them at night.
Okay, only at night. And then Kurt W75 wants to know: are they always the same color, or do they vary time to time?
Always the same color. They're always whitish or bright whitish or whitish, such as what is on that one that we were showing. They've never changed colors to where I've seen it in a lighter color or a darker color. It's always relatively to the same as what was presented on screen tonight. Yeah.
Okay, and then my question about the remote viewing going shifting back is that have you ever encountered somebody blocking you, or is it on to you that you're
No,
in
I
their
don't.
maybe like
Oh,
protecting that
like
space?
no, like here, like have I caught people here when we do remote viewing? Like they know that I'm reviewing them, and I've caught people viewing me. So those things aren't uncommon. Like when if I'm remote viewing somebody, let's say I won't say, I'm just going to say, let's just say on an island somewhere in the South Pacific, and I'm remote viewing somebody there, and they have abilities to remote view, and they sense that I'm there. They'll know that I'm there. Yes, those things are very common. That's not uncommon, actually. Um, if I'm doing a project with, let's say, alien related, they definitely know that I'm there. They make me aware of that quite quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can even discuss things with them if need to be, right? So those things
Oh,
aren't
cool.
uncommon. Yeah, those things are not uncommon for, at least not for me. I don't know if everybody has that, but I know for me, I can do that, right?
Very cool.
And and if somebody's remote viewing me, let's say,
I don't know
I'll
how much
know.
I would like. So they don't see like things when you're remote viewing. Is it like kind of like you're traveling, so you don't see everything? Like, I mean, some people, I guess, are all
Yeah.
different. Like, from my understanding, is you kind of build it layer by layer by layer.
Well, it's like that, but it's not really. See here, I'll give you the difference between evidential mediumship and remote viewing, scientific remote viewing. Is evidential mediumship is basically the spirit world's coming to me to produce the information for my client across from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not exactly like that. Now, because I'm leaving this dimension and I'm going somewhere else to get the information. But it's still different than scientific remote viewing because scientific remote viewing, I'm going there and I'm getting the
Mm-hmm.
information, right? And I can go back to, let's say, 1947. I can go 20 years in advance, whatever that may be.
Oh, so you can
And
time travel with it.
yeah, we do that on a regular basis. It's one of our
Okay.
movement exercises is to be able to go back in time or to do a deep mind probe on somebody. Like you got to remember when we remote view, it's blind. We don't know. We get 8 numbers. That is it. That is all we get, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
get on target, and from that, then we go to collect our data that they're looking for us to collect. Now, sometimes you would like to go further deeper into say this way or this way or this way, but it's not. Sometimes when you're not doing it on your own and you're doing it for somebody, they want specific data about specific things. So this is all presented prior to the session. You don't know the data or you don't know anything about it, but that's the stuff that they're interested in finding out, right?
Right. So do you do it with a group, or how do you
No,
do it?
it's just I'll do it with a moderator or by myself.
Okay.
So the moderator will ask questions such as this. They don't say anything about anything. They'll tell me to go to subject X and do a deep mind probe in subject X. I don't know who subject X is because I don't even know where I am, right? So I'll dive into subject X and I'll tell them all about subject X. Now this could be, let's say, this could be Adolf Hitler, let's say, right? And I won't know what I'm doing, but all the data will come forward for this gentleman, right? And then they'll move me to go to subject G and go to so, or they'll move me to a group of people and they'll tell me to do a collective deep mind probe on why they're there, where they're at, right? Meanwhile, I've had to get to the target before any of this exists, right? So it's not like they're feeding me, because that's not remote. Remote viewing is done blind. Like, it has to be done blind. Otherwise, your information is going to be tainted. Your data is going to be tainted. So everything is done blind. So there's lots of different types of things. Like, they'll tell you to move 2,000 feet above the surface of wherever you might be, and describe. So you might be doing Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and of course everything's obliviated, and that's what your data is going to be produced, right? But you don't know you're there until the end of the session, to where it gets right, until the information, until the you get your target reveal, and then you go into some of the questions that they were looking for, and you just sit there going, like, when you don't know what's going on in remote viewing, you're on target.
You're on target. Is that what you said?
Then you're on target. When you don't know, like when you have no clue what's happening, you're just producing data. That's perfect, because then usually your data, you're probably going to be about 99% to 100% accurate on what the target is. And
Sure. So who are you doing this? Is this to learn how to do it, or are you like? Because this sounds like, I mean, with having who are you like? Is it just a hobby, or is this something you're actually doing for, like, maybe
it's
an
not
agency?
really it's not really a hobby. No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But I don't know how to ask this question.
Yeah, no, it's so what I did was I got into the school. This was my third school of remote viewing, and what I do is I do mediumship across the country. So I do shows across the country. So I came home, and I was completely burnt out, and within a week I was doing remote viewing again. And then it took me to a place in Atlanta. Courtney Brown is his name, actually. He's a very renowned remote viewer globally. And I started schooling there after being in Major Ed Dame's remote viewing school. And then it turned into projects. And the more you do, the more you learn, the vaster it all becomes, right? This isn't just getting on target. That's like getting in target, like, is something like, that's where I started. We all start somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So when we get on target, and then, but their scientific remote viewing has a specific structure you follow to where you go to what they want to progress to, and then that's when the data that you're going to produce from wherever you are or whatever they're looking for is going to come. And it comes. So layers, it's I don't know how I would say layers. I just produce information. So if I'm doing it on myself, let's say, or if I'm doing it for myself, let's say I have a bunch of numbers or a bunch of coordinates, I'll put them in a hat and I'll pull out coordinates, and I'll do the project myself, right? And that gives me all the data I need, right, for the project that I threw into the hat a month ago, let's say, with 10 other numbers, right? And I won't remember the numbers. There's no chance I work too much, so I couldn't possibly remember what I'm viewing. You got to remember, when you're viewing anything high level. So if I'm doing 9/11, let's say, and I think I'm doing the Twin Towers, or I'm looking at the Twin Towers, I got to deduct that, because that's too high level because that instantly taints your data, right?
Sure.
And we're trained to be able to deduct stuff. We have to deduct that from the project, because it's anything high level you have to deduct, right? So if you're working with the Great Pyramids, or you're working with the Phoenix Lights, let's say, right? And you think you're working with the Phoenix Lights, you got to deduct it, right? So, and then it just goes to another place, right? So
That's
a
interesting.
lot of, it's not, I don't know how to explain, say, layers, but it's more, I just produce what I'm looking at, or what they're showing me, because they show it to me. And
So
the place,
Stone Hobbit says, what does our future look like? Since you can go in the future, but you don't necessarily see in this, like, I mean, you're not seeing like the terrains, like you're actually there, right?
I'm actually there. Yeah, I draw
Oh, you
here.
actually get
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh no, I have to do flash sketches. I have to draw everything that I'm seeing. Like flash
Yes.
sketches are something very important because ideograms are our target. So once we do our ideograms, we go into a certain structure, and then from that place, we'll do our flash sketches of what we're seeing while we're
Mm-hmm.
there, and or we'll do numerous flash sketches, or we'll do flat. I'll do sketches my whole way because I won't remember. I won't remember. So if I see something like 10 minutes later, I won't remember what I've seen to where I have to draw it legible enough for them to understand it.
Sure.
Now, when he says future, it's not really how it here. This is how I'll explain this to him. So if somebody's asking me to remote view something inside the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go there. Like here, I'll give you an example. Let's just say the Ukraine war, and we've remote viewed this, right? Or I've remote viewed that, right? And it'll tell me usually, depending on how far or what they want to know with inside the session. So that'll be a specific scenario, like how long is this going to last, or those things. Yes, that'll come up in remote viewing. That'll come up in your data for sure. It will. Yeah.
Wow.
But to generalize it isn't something that that's something. It has to be. It can't be just a generalized. Like if I'm going to look for here, yeah, anything we do is never really generalized, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more specific. So what's the here? This is something that I've done actually. So if you go 50 years in advance, what does the Earth look like?
Yes.
Yes, there is data for that. Yeah. And it's
What
not
does
the
it look
same
like?
as now. It's not the
No.
same as now. Okay. So those are something that, yeah. Or we'll go
What do
back.
you see differently about it? Like what is there anything like you can
The structures are different. Um, Transportation is different. Things like that.
do we exist as like do humans even exist that far in the future? Or are we just all
We
robotic?
we do actually.
There's
We
some
don't get. We're not a Mars to where we have a nuclear disaster to where everything gets wiped off the face of the planet to where we become a dead planet. Okay, because Mars was inhabited prior to what it is now, and there's plenty of data that shows that scientifically, right?
sure.
I mean, people can say whatever they want that we've never been outside the Van
I just
Allen.
say I don't think anybody's hanging upside down off this planet. That's
Yeah, no. So I'm not interested in a debate with anybody because that's not what
right.
right? I just collect data. That's all I do. It's not
Absolutely.
and
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
you
here to.
push forward with what did you find? Because I'm not like somehow this all it obviously is involved. It plays a part in this.
Well, everything does, but you have to like. I can go so deep into that to where it's going to change your mindset on who even created us because we do a lot of that stuff. We do the Bible stuff, and like if you think here, I mean, I can't give you a hard because half the people are going to leave your show. That I mean,
Well, you
whoever
can
you
tell.
think,
You know what? This is what I don't do. I think it's far more dangerous to tell somebody things they can and cannot say or listen to. Like if they don't agree with it, then they
yeah,
don't agree with it. That's okay. They know that because we're okay with that. Because
okay,
if it makes sense and it resonates with the person, but
yeah,
obviously you're out there, and so maybe we might not understand exactly why, but maybe a piece of that or part of that nugget, is what
okay,
somebody else needs. A lot of this is
sure.
subjective. So go
If
for
you
it.
go to who actually runs this planet, and I'm not talking about humans. So you got to go to the aliens who run this planet, right? So
Mm-hmm.
go there to start it. Now, how did you get here? You got to go there to start that because that just tells you a lot of things are wiped out because of who actually runs this planet. It's a prison planet, right?
Yes, it is. I agree.
And from that point on, now you go back to the bastard because I viewed this stuff and I won't remember all the data, so I'll give you a little bit pieces of it, right? So we do a lot of remote viewing of the Bible as well, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to knock anybody who believes in that, but a lot of the stuff that is produced with inside the Bible is not actual factual information that's correct. And that's not from one viewer, that's from many
Well,
viewers
yeah, it's been
globally.
manipulated by I mean, there's
Yeah,
so many different variations. It's been manipulated by
yeah,
to suit whoever was writing it and whatever
right.
religious, yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we all agree with you
So,
on there. So you're fine.
right.
Keep going.
So, I
Yeah, you haven't
mean,
offended anyone yet.
if you don't think there's aliens among us right now
They
and you
are.
don't walk past one daily, think
Mm-hmm.
again because truly
They're
don't
out
be
there.
narrow minded because it's,
No, I was
um,
a part of the Hetla movement, which is humanoid
yeah,
extraterrestrials live among us. And so I learned all
absolutely.
that. We used to go into like the brevity coding of the Navy, and then we
Yeah,
used to figure out because what they're putting under there, they're not actually the it's not the brevity code. It's not the correct code.
right.
It's like so we started going through and seeing how they actually communicated like right through the paper, right through the media, just maybe by like gestures or the way that it was written. So
Yeah.
the SNX actually stands for subnation, which is a polymorphed word from subliminal dissemination. So that and X is who you're tracking. So that's how deep like I've gotten into this,
Mhm.
just so you know.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, go into those things because those things are real. Go into there's many different types of aliens, but the bad aliens, God, I can't even remember who the hell I'm talking about here, who run the planet is factual information of who runs the planet. Yeah. So that's what I go to. That's because that's produced data. Now that the reptilians, there you go. I just remembered who I was trying to talk about again, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And you're getting comments in chat like from Jonathan Barber. He's saying you're absolutely correct. People are agreeing with what you're saying.
yeah,
So you're
it is
not.
true. Like I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings about here. I'll go to one.
That's okay. We don't. We have
I
tough
know,
feelings around
I
here.
know. Okay, I'll let her rip then. Like here, I'll give you one project I did do was Zeus. Now Zeus was supposed to be a god in the Bible, right? Zeus was
Mm-hmm.
nothing but a rapist and a pillager and a thief, and he raped women, and that's what he did. That's what Zeus did. And that's one thing in the Bible. Now, I'm going to also go to another thing. Now, this one's a little heavier because this one's about Jesus being hung on the cross. He wasn't actually hung on the cross, it was somebody else. He was there, but he wasn't hung on the cross. And multiple viewers from across the globe got the same thing. Right. So it's not based on one viewer's opinion, it's based on
Mm-hmm.
many, but there's also back data to all that, right? It's not just producing that because you have to produce data that surrounds that backs that up, right? And so do other viewers. It's not just, okay, that's where we leave it, that's all we're going to produce. No, because there's 10 things with inside that one question that you have to find data for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's how you get your backstory to things such as what I just said about Zeus and what I just said about the cross, right? Now, I grew
Yes.
up in a Christian family, right? But my perspective's changed so much on death and everything else that exists on the planet simply because of what I get to see and who I get to work with and how they respond to my questions when I ask them in a session. Let's say if I'm doing, sorry, I'm branching off to mediumistic work right now. So
No, no, no. We're following you. I'm
if
all
I'm
over the
sitting,
place. You're doing good.
if I'm sitting with a client and I ask them to produce some information for the client and they produce it instantaneously for them, they're one paper away from me. Like literally, you hold up a paper, that's how close they are to us inside a session because they'll respond to me instantaneously. Now you have to remember, I'm already 12,000 sessions deep into mediumistic work. I'm not 50 sessions in or 100 sessions in or 1,000 sessions in, right? Now, when I did my first murder case at 6,000 sessions, I didn't know it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was the lady walked into my house and she found out who murdered her best friend, right? my whole world changed because I found out a place that I didn't know existed to where I worked at 6,000 sessions, and it was moving for me as a medium, right? As an
Right.
evidential medium. And then comes remote viewing. Now, with remote viewing, you can sort of, and this is probably why, and I revert back to the other side of why they got me into the remote viewing, because these two dynamics, scientific remote viewing and evidential mediumship, are the closest two dynamics to one another, and they helped each other, or they'll help solve murder cases or missing people, and they have, because you can do the two in if you have enough understanding, you can manipulate both dynamics to where you can, right?
Yeah, that's fascinating. Wow.
So it does work that way for me now, and it wasn't me that got me into it. It was the other side. That's how I always back that up, or what I referred to, because when I started mediumistic school, I didn't know what a medium was. I could always do and see,
Oh,
but
wow.
I knew nothing about it. I schooled for 6 years as a medium, yeah, before I turned pro,
Wow.
right? So it's just not something that, right, that I just, but so anyway, so those
That's
two
amazing. Some
dynamics.
people had a question about, have you, like, doing remote viewing, has it solved any of the missing 411 cases?
This is what I will tell you, okay? I don't do 4-1. Most of the people that I've worked with, and I've done 106 murder cases in one calendar year, not by choice. People have found me. I've never found anybody. They've always come to me. Now that just doesn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never planned on doing any murder cases or missing people, anything like that,
Sure.
right? It was never planned. Nothing I ever did was ever planned, but it just walked in my door. Or I would do a show, and then the next thing you know, there's three people that want uh, somebody found, or who committed the murder, or where's the body. And none of those things are ever planned. They just seem to find your way to you, or they get sent to you, right?
Right.
And that what was happening for one calendar year. It was heavy like that, and then they moved me on to something a little different. Not so much murder cases, me more into remote viewing. So for the cases that I've done, uh, yeah, yeah, good results.
That's
Right?
amazing. Yeah, I'm sure it's helped a lot of people. A
Like
lot
the
of people.
families that come to you, right? And I'll give
Mm-hmm.
you one of them. Like, I had a mom and a daughter sitting across from me, and I was doing a mediumistic session, and it wasn't about. But the first thing that the spirit world showed me was this boy, and this boy had a black eye. Now, they didn't place it instantaneously, which was kind of odd to me. But as we got deeper into the session, everything about the boy turned out to be their son, and he came to tell them who committed the murder. Right now, nothing's here for me to keep. Right, but I get to see the whole thing. Right, to
Mm-hmm.
what happens to the boy and what did happen to the boy, and I have to relay it to mom and sister, because they're giving me the information, and it's not for me to keep, it's for me to relay, right?
Yes, yes. It doesn't
So,
always even make sense to me either. The person makes sense out of it. Yeah.
well, it's not that. I'll give you the backstory to why it is not for me to keep. It's so their brother killed the boy.
Mm.
Like, their brother killed the brother, and that's what I was shown, right? So that's what you have to relay. Now, how do you tell mom and daughter, who's 14 years old, across from you, that the person who killed their brother is their other brother?
You know what? I worked as a children's therapist, and I had a situation like this happen with two kids that were involved with a murder, and it was not a easy place to be.
It's not, but you got to remember, like, here. So I'm going to give you the scenario to why I have to relay the information. So for me, I can always see them when I dial in. I can see them. It's my benefit. I'm just fortunate that way. But I was working with this older lady, and the information she was getting wasn't great. The whole session, right? It was about an hour long, right? And then at the end of it, they tell me that this person's going to pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't pass along that information because her session was tough enough as it was. Well, for 3 weeks, guess what I couldn't see? They took that away from me because it wasn't my information to keep. It was my information. They entrusted
Oh,
me to
you
give
got punished?
oh yeah, 3 weeks.
They cut
And
you
I could,
off.
yeah, that told me
Oh.
instantaneously. Oh yeah, and I've always been able to see. That's my
So,
strength.
yeah, okay. So,
Right?
now that you say that, what okay, let's say, because I'm not the only one that's had this happen. I thought it was the craziest thing. I wish Sonya Galactic were in, because we were talking about it and I was like, no, after this point, and especially like with the ET, I lost some of that ability to see. Like I normally could just, and it was like, so I'm like, I feel like I couldn't explain it, and then you're the first person that is, so how do I get it back?
For me,
Like,
I just
did I
kept.
do something? And like, would they tell me? Is there some sort of book I can read? Because I feel like that's exactly what happened.
I knew right away. As soon as I couldn't see, you got to remember, I'm many years in and 12,000 sessions in, right? So if I'm not seeing, and I knew exactly what I didn't pass along, right?
Yeah.
And the non-visual, the clairvoyance stopped instantaneously the next day. And it went for 3 weeks, and they didn't have to tell me. I learned my lesson. So there wasn't a book or anything. I just knew right away what I should have done. Now, the information that they entrusted me to pass along to the individual who needs it, who's here for that specific piece of information, is not mine to keep. It's
Right.
theirs,
Well, I
right?
can tell you what happened was it's right around the whole time the COVID thing came about, and I went from going out and my focus was always like I always had that connection where I was out there at a certain time, like with ET UFOs. But it seems like I have the shift, maybe, like maybe it's a frequency thing, like because I used to be able to
Mm.
shift really easily into the paranormal. Like it was like I just see right past you, and I can do it in seconds. But then when like where I think I shifted, but it seemed like that's when the interruption came in.
Yeah, it's different. You got to remember, it's different for you than it is for me. It's never the same, ever going to be the same thing. So let's just say any of my students, right? They
Mm-hmm.
all work differently, right? They all say within inside the structure, but one receives differently than the next, or they receive differently than the next, and so on and so on. So for me to say that it's a specific thing, go back in time for yourself. Go back, just pinpoint it down because they change here. So remember I said I did 106 murder cases one calendar year. I
Yeah.
only did a few after that calendar year, and then they shifted me to do something different, and then they did something differently prior to that. For a year and 4 months they did something completely different.
Sure.
So yeah, so um, I don't think this was because of what I didn't do. The rest of it is them prepping you and
Who's
working with you.
them then? Is that
The other
like
side, the spirit world.
okay? So have you ever seen? Oh God, what is it called? It's like a parallel world. It has oh gosh, what is it called? I can't even think what it's called now. But it basically it has they have this council and they shut both sides of it off. And like they say your doppelganger or whatever is from that other upside down world type thing.
It doesn't
Like
really run like that. It's not quite here. So where I go is just to the next dimension. That's where I
okay.
connect to the other side, to the spirit world. Because I leave here because your name has to go down up here, otherwise I won't remember. Because I got to deliver the information. I also got to produce your name, and I'm not here. I leave the earth plane and I go to the next dimension because that's where they exist. Now, this has been a
How
hot
do you get
topic.
there?
It's like dialing a radio.
How they teach you to like dial that to get
That
there? Or is this
school,
school? Okay. Like a
schooling. I school.
discipline you practice.
Yeah. Like here, when you dial in, it's So when somebody comes to my class, let's say, and I'm going to use that as an example because it's easy to do, right? Within 2 classes, they're dialing in. They know how to dial in. They don't know who's here or why they're getting what they're getting because that's years down the way, but they will. And then I'll just ask them, like, they'll always work with somebody, right? With inside the class. I just tell them to just give me what you see, right? That's what dialing in's like, because you're not understanding why you're getting what you're getting because you have no clue. But
Oh,
as
so
soon as
you're
you,
kind of like focusing
yeah,
or putting it in focus. Okay.
well,
That
you
makes sense.
quiet your mind and you leave the conscious mind, right? That's what I'm training them to do, right?
Sure.
Without them knowing it, right? And then I just tell them, now you two are going to work together, but you do it in front of the class, right? And so they'll give about 6 things or 7 things or 5 things. And then I'll ask the person that they were working with, now, what does the red car mean? And they will say, well, my mom used to have a red car. And then they'll go to the cake. And then I'll ask the lady that she was working with, what does the cake mean to you? Well, my mom used to bake lots of cakes.
Yeah, that's
But
how I do it too.
the
Mediumship, like, yeah.
developing medium, right, doesn't know what they're doing at that stage. That's where it starts. That's how you dial in. Now there's thousands of steps past that and many doors you got to find that
And
don't
they're
know.
providing the clarity to it. I get what you're saying now. That makes sense.
But that's the first step of them walking through that door, right? To leaving the conscious mind to being able to get to the subconscious. And so once they get those 5 results that they just have no idea why they got, right? They're just sitting there. This is class 2 for them, let's say. They're just sitting there going, whoa, that was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that. That was, and this is a typical response, right? Now you can start to work. Now you just go, right? That's what it's like. It's like dialing into a radio, right? For me, it's quite simple at this point. It's just I've done it so much, right?
Right.
At the beginning,
So it's
it
probably
wasn't
easy
like,
for you just to switch over then into that.
yeah, it typically works pretty quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Even if I've had a few days off, let's say
Yeah.
I've had, here, let's just say I went on a holiday for a week or 2 weeks. I'll come back and I'll be able to do it on the first session. Yeah.
But is it
Nothing.
just
Yeah.
kind of take, I know, like,
No,
okay, have you heard of like projecting your energy to like cloud popping or whatever,
here,
like things like that?
I've done 12,000 sessions. Nobody's ever got me. And I've worked with many murderers. Nobody's ever got me. I don't protect anything. I don't believe in that. When I was in my first in protection, no.
No,
I don't.
I mean in projecting your energy.
Oh,
Like your
projecting my
prefrontal
energy.
cortex, like you can manipulate things with your energy.
Okay.
Like I was
Sorry, I
from
misheard
explain
you.
it from this, and you can kind of like you can even like affect weather. And I'm not one of the ones that can get on but I know people who and I tried to prove this wrong to myself,
Okay.
but it's not like. And I think, okay, so if you can project that prefrontal cortex and like it takes a little bit of like push
No
to
way.
get it out there. What
Right.
else could you do? Like, is that a way of creating? Because I don't know how to do anything other than the cloud
That
dissipation. Like, but there has to be, I feel like, a part of that.
I've never done anything like that ever.
You should try it.
I
didn't believe it. I tried
Yeah.
20 times to prove it wrong, and I couldn't. But the more I
Yeah.
did it, the quicker it went, and the quicker I was able to do it.
Yeah. Trust me, anything in the supernatural that somebody like yourself comes up to me and says they do it, I believe you.
No, I
'Cause
believe. Yeah, I believe you.
I know. Like I know what I can do, and that's
Mhm.
not normal. That's not normal behavior on the earth plane,
No.
right?
But yeah, I've got a
So,
couple of things that I can.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's truly not normal for the normal human being. Like,
No.
what we call them are the normies, and
Yeah, I do too. I call
right.
them normies.
So
Yeah.
sorry,
I get really upset when I really, really, really get like, I mean, it has to be like really upset. I leave the room, because if there's a can or anything carbonated or anything with like a lid on, they start spinning, and I am not touching a thing. But that's the energy, like, where I
Okay.
know, that it
Yeah.
has to be something like to do with my child or something that really like strikes it.
Okay.
But when it does, I know, go get yourself out of the room, because
Yeah.
it does. It's like, but once it's released, it's just different. It's
Yeah.
done.
Here. So nothing like that has really ever happened to me. Now, here, this is what I'll tell you. This is how this all started and why I sent the letters to doctors around the world to why I could see and do. All I wanted to know is that, right? Why I could do stuff, right? Anyways, because I can usually typically in an average day see 25 things that aren't on the earth plane in a regular day every day. That's not on the earth plane. That's how it all started, like full figures, like them touching my head or rubbing my arm or touching my hand or verbalizing or seeing. It was normal. It's a normal day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that became the norm for me. But all that stuff, like what you're saying, it's a little different. I've never had that pleasure to experience those things, such as that.
But I attribute it to, because I don't know, like, how I found out when I was a medium. I was like, as far back as I remember, it was 4. So then I was recruited for the Gifted and Talented program, which is a government kind of program where they're looking for people with these types of abilities. So from that point on, I was given these extensive MRIs where they don't even, during this only portion, are they really, really strong, and then they're injecting with this metallic dye that went where to my brain, and they did it in. So that's why I was able to like knock out the old street lights, or why things like the carbonation or the thing in the soda. That's why I think when they put people who have these kinds of abilities, it's almost like a little Montauk-y. You know what I'm saying? But I think that in itself, I was done at the Mayo Clinic and then went out to Johns Hopkins. Well, look into the CIA involvement there in the programs that were going on
Yes.
during those times. And then I already
Yeah.
had the Montessori school with the Gifted and Talented program, which I find out later is the government, the Gateway Project. So,
100%. Right.
yeah.
So
So why is that? So I think it's because the MRIs.
yeah, and I think it's just your natural abilities. I just think that it exists within you because I just believe that. I think you had that from day one. I don't think it's something that something new to you. You just have to bring it out of yourself. Right?
But don't you think it could intensify it? Because for whatever reason,
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
those MRIs were
Yeah.
very important, and whatever they were
Sure.
injecting in, and
Oh yeah.
it's something they can't even give to people. Like, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. You can't
I
get rid of it.
I, I I would respect that analogy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I thought, maybe
Yeah.
you'd understand, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I
It
feel
is
like you
cool.
get it. Yeah, it's kind of
I
it's nice to talk
I
to you.
do. I know.
Yeah, I
It
know.
is. I do get things like that because the work that you do is unique, right?
Yeah.
So here, and I'm just going to throw this out at you, Nicole. Like when you run into a medium, right? Especially in North America, because it's all new school mediumship. It's not old school mediumship, which is trance and it goes deeper, right? So uh, you find that they all think it's the same. We all did the same work. I know much differently. We don't.
Right.
It's
You know
it's
what's interesting? You
impossible.
called me Nicole. Did
Yeah.
you realize? So did you know that my name was Nicole before?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that that's like was my
Yeah.
given name. So I just didn't know
Yeah.
if that came through or you knew that
Yeah.
before.
No, I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Right. I could have said the other way, but that would be lying. And then as soon as you lie, you can't work for them. That's
Right.
ethics is the most important thing. That goes back
Sure.
to keeping information that doesn't belong to you. That's ethics. Very stringent, right?
Right.
So, but when
No, I
you
just
go
had to
to
ask. I had to ask.
yeah, no, I should have played you for a bit and went.
Yeah, I was like, I picked up on that right away. I was like, yeah, no. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, but see, I believe these unique things that produce from the individual are already installed in the individual prior to coming to the earth plane. I don't think that, like when I can see a 3, right,
Mm-hmm.
and it never leaves me, right, that's by design. That's not, sorry. And so when you're saying about this carbonated soda or the street lights or
Mm-hmm.
these sort of things, or that is installed in you prior to coming, and for whatever reason, it at some point brings out in you, or it comes out of you to where,
Yeah.
for
It
however
has
it
to be
starts,
that one, like, I mean, when
yeah,
you push my child's button, it like pushes that,
yeah,
that's exactly the type of moment that it would take to happen.
100%, right? So it'll
Mm-hmm.
bring it out in you, and that's not. So for me, that would never happen for me, but to you, that's second nature, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh,
Very cool.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very, very cool, right?
Wow, that's
I know.
you're
I
very cool. Thanks. I've never had somebody like you have such a great perspective and a grounding on this. Like, I mean, you're very much grounded in the way I've never heard somebody able to be so I mean, have such a scientific take on it, but yet such an understanding of the experience itself. Like you're like the whole package right here. You
they
should be the consultant of this because you're very rational. I'll have to
that
say.
there that all comes from them, from the other side, the spirit world. Just so you know that, okay?
Yeah, you run by God. Yeah, you run by the code. That's
Because
cool.
it is, because they're the ones that prep you for the work you do. I'm just going to tell you that because that's how it's become for me. So when I do 106 in the calendar year, and then I
Mm-hmm.
do a year and 4 months of something else, and then I do 6 months of something else, that's not me doing it. That's them developing your abilities to where they want you to work. That's what I understand or come to understand through the process of it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always said, I said, I don't know how to explain this, but there are rules to this game. Like, and I'm meaning, and it's not necessarily a game, but that's the only way,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that I have to
Sure.
put it. Like, there are rules to some of this, and there's certain things that they can't communicate back. There's certain times where I know that they're blocked. Like, I know that it is so, like, blatant and apparent. And so I'm like, it's just like, who or what is regulating it? Is it like a an AI from the
No,
ET realm, or is it
no.
because like you said before, going back, and I've heard Robert Dean say it too. Like yeah, they're going moving. They're. I at one time thought in my head, how many of them would have to be here to control us in such the way they do? I think there are far less people, like actual people,
Yeah.
than we could even possibly imagine. So I was legitimately trying to do the statistics on this, like how much of this manipulation is going on around us, how closely, because now that they have like surveillance cameras and they have everything, like is
Yeah.
that why some population is going to go down? They don't need as many like hawking us. What do you think about all this? It's hard to wrap your mind around.
That I'm not sure about. Like, I'm not sure about why I hear, you want the backstory, what I think?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here. So, oh, God. 10 things just crossed my mind that I could have threw out at you. Right. So now, so yeah, who runs the globe? The Bilderbergs.
Definitely.
Who runs the Bilderbergs? The ET race, the reptilians, right? Now, how many reptilian are there? Different breeds are there. There's many, not one or six or 10 or 12. There's many because I've seen at least that easily without even trying to count them, right? So the people that you see in government aren't so much of anybody who runs things. That's the puppet show for the human race to pay
Right.
attention to. Now, everything that they do, for whatever reason, has to be presented, whether it's on TV, whatever the case is. I mean, there's so many avenues we can go down on and think about, to where it's going to take you down there to down there to down there to down there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to say it's here, to say it's one particular thing, I, yeah, it is.
I don't think it is one particular thing. I think at the top, it funnels to about the top 3%. We're just not a
Yeah,
part of that club, nor will we
no,
ever get to
you
be a
are.
part of that club.
We are the workers, right?
Yes,
And you
most
know that as well as I do. I know you know that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for the elite, for the right, that's
Oh yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Now here, now I got the remote view, and I'm going to go back to this remote viewing scenario about, and I did remote view Donald Trump, and I did remote view Trudeau in Canada as well,
Oh,
and where
that's
their
interesting.
information comes from, and why they do what they do, it's simply because they're just taking instructions, right,
Mm-hmm.
from the deep state, from the Bilderbergs. They run the planet. They run somebody has to be in charge of running the planet here, and so they get to do what they want. We don't mean anything. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. We are the
Oh, I don't
lowest,
believe. Yeah.
right? So I mean, those things exist. They're real. Like, I can go into some stories about those things, but uh, in a nutshell, it's right there on the table, right? So I mean, why did here? So if you go to how many cattle it takes to produce enough feed to feed the planet in one, just go in one calendar week,
Mm-hmm.
never mind one calendar year for 8 billion people, right? They don't produce enough cattle. There's not enough meat products that exist like that, right?
Right.
So how many trillions of dollars do you need,
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
right? Like, the wealth that we don't even know about that exists, right? Because if you go into the
Mm-hmm.
Bilderbergs, the wealth that exists within there is a number that go past the trillions. I don't even know what comes after that.
You're the second person that said that this week.
Like,
That's hilarious. Yeah.
how do you, or what? The question for me is, and I've not remote viewed this yet, but it's a project that I would want to do, is why do you need that much money? I got to know that part of
Right.
it, right? Because tells us a lot, to where we'll understand a lot better to why they keep doing what they're doing, right?
They're just
So,
funneling it back.
but why though? Because if you go to see, we're not the only planet that exists with humans on it in the galaxy. There's many planets that exist with humans on it around the galaxy, right? And we work side by side with the aliens, just so you know that. I mean, we do that
Oh
here, we
yeah.
do that all over the globe.
100%.
It's not a secret to you or anybody. It's just what it is. It's fact,
Do
right?
you know James Gillian
No, I don't.
from the
I'm
ESETI
sorry.
Ranch? He'd be a good one to connect with. He does a lot of that. The direct
Yeah.
contact as an ambassador. Yeah. He does like the ambassador's training even, and like he can identify like people if like he sees characteristics. It's really interesting,
Yeah.
fascinating.
Very cool. Very cool. Very interesting.
Yeah, you definitely should look into him. He's very cool.
Yeah. What's his
He's
name?
been on a few. Yeah, he's been on probably like 5 or 6 times, but on my show,
Okay.
and yeah, I get to chat with him. But he's got a good. He's always going, and he does like a lot of like work, and he gets in there. He's pretty spot on. He's done some things where I haven't told him, and he's nailed a few things. So definitely
Okay.
knows what he's doing.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's more people on the Earth plane that actually have a good understanding of what actually is than, right?
Yeah.
It's just not everybody wants to die tomorrow.
No, yeah. We don't want to. You know what? It would even be worse is if we got sucked back in and we had to start back off at like, I don't know, whichever barrier we crossed, like the Mario Brothers. It's like once you made it past halfway, then you didn't have to go all the way back to square one. You might get halfway through the castle or something. But
Right.
I tell you, like, I'm bound and determined to maneuver, figure out whatever code needs to be cracked to get out of this maze and off of this, because I too believe we are stuck here. You can't convince
For
me
the time being.
otherwise. Yes, for the
Yeah.
time being. For the time
Yeah.
being. Yes, yes.
For the time being, you don't have to come back to this place. There's other places that you can exist in, but you don't have to come back to this place. But for the time being, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another scenario. This one I love to throw at people. So what if, you cross, like, everything's like flashes before your eyes, and then you hear, "Congratulations, you have completed your simulation on planet Earth." And you're like, totally what do
Well,
you do with
here,
that?
I will tell you this. This is what I will tell you. I remote viewed and I don't know the magazine. It's easy for me to find. And it was a project through where I work, right? So it was exactly that. 5 individuals crossed over to the other side. And I don't know the project. Got to remember, everything's blind. And then the moderator will ask you to go to subject C or K or whatever it may be and produce all this information. Now it was 5 individuals that crossed back over to the other side. And we all went back differently. This is what I can tell you. We all went back differently. Nobody went back the same, which is typical for the Earth because nobody is the same. So that doesn't surprise. Now they go to what happens while you cross this place and what happens while you're there, what happens after you leave that place, right? And these were the information that they don't ask the questions like that, but it's similar to that. But all the information for every one of those 5 individuals, the data was collected, and we don't always come back here. So don't be surprised if you're reprogrammed while you're there either. So,
You know what? I just had a really interesting thought when you're saying all this. So have you ever heard of okay, so people who like travel, right? They might astral project themselves. I could never do that. So I learned a different way of doing it, right? As long as I can understand, I hear somebody's voice and I recognize what they look like, I can pop over into wherever they're at, like almost instantly. But here's the kicker: as a orb, like
okay.
and I show up. Like, what if these are people that are traveling or keeping an eye? Like, what if the things that are showing up, like your doorbell cams, the way that they are moving, reminds me of somebody who would be traveling?
Well, here, now I'm going to tell you this, and I had no intentions of telling you this, but there's a reason for that. It is like that. Okay. But it goes deeper than that because I can tell you straight up that, yeah, I'm going to be a weirdo now.
No, it's good. Let's go there. Let's go
So,
there.
here. So, and this just happened last night. And this isn't the first time this scenario has happened that I could hear them inside my house. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually seen them inside my house while I'm sleeping, right? Yesterday, one of them said about 5 words, and the next one said about 5 words, and I was awake. This was at 5:30 in the morning. I was not English, not anything vocabulary that I would understand from the earth plane.
Okay.
Now that was last night, and that was it. But I was awake for that. That portion of it I was awake for. Now that's not the first time, right? I've actually witnessed them inside the bedroom, right? It's not the first time. So, and that might be weird for some people, but those things do happen because I can say that for a fact. And
With anything, though, don't you think orbs are the way in? Like, okay, so when I saw my first UFO, ET,
well,
they
sure.
broke off into 7 orbs.
Orbs.
And I figured that was their way of traveling, like maybe dimensions, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Or they could be still on the earth plane. That was on the earth plane. So
Hmm.
I mean, where did they go to? Where did the seven different arms go to? That's
Shut
where I
up.
would go. And they
Yeah.
were gone.
No, they
Here.
were they were there for a while, but then they kind of dissipated, but they
Eh,
changed form again.
Okay. That's yeah, here.
Can yours do that?
I've never seen them do that. They've always been one type of thing, like
Do you
um
recognize them?
one light, right? Like light, or like a napkin color, like a white napkin color.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to explain it because I
I
got a napkin
understand
right
that.
here. You're right. And they've always done exactly that. Some are brighter, some are not so bright, some are distant, some are right at my door,
Mm-hmm.
some are going this way, some are going that way. So
Give us a size range. Are these like baseballs,
here,
volleyballs, basketballs?
yeah, like I have some that I sent you. There's some larger ones and then there's
Mm-hmm.
smaller ones, right?
I've
So
seen a
when I'm
range of
look,
them too. Yeah.
yeah, like I wouldn't even know the size of that. Like if they're shooting across the sky like that, it's got to be like any from a hockey puck size to a softball size,
It's
right, or a
hard
baseball.
to tell when they go
Yeah,
slow or low. You can't
yeah,
gauge them. It's like the
no,
perfect crime whenever I've
yeah,
seen them. Yeah.
yeah. It's and so how do you gauge something you don't know anything about? It's impossible, right?
Sure.
So it's here. Like when I see them sitting in my plants, they're like this big. They're like quarter size, but they're bright lights sitting there, and they're just. I guess I'm assuming they're looking at the door because they're on both sides of the door, front and back.
So, what do you think that they are? Like, in all weirdness, like, what's your first instinct, or where have you
Definitely alien
come to?
related.
Like, what do you? Because you have to have some sort of, like,
Alien related. Hundred
I
percent
do too. Yeah,
alien related.
I do too,
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt. I do.
just because of the experiences that I've had with inside the home,
Hmm.
plus the missing here.
Missing time. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, and that's not here. I've had missing time here once. I've had missing time other times as well. And my tutor, my remote viewing tutor, made me review one of my missing times one time, actually, because I was 40 minutes late for a class, exactly 40 minutes. And I got back on. It was just like, well, I'm 4 minutes late. She says, no, you're 44 minutes late. There's 40
Oh
minutes that was gone. So
yeah.
So
Yeah.
2 months later, what she did was she made me remote view that and to what happened in that missing
Oh, you
time.
can do that.
Yeah, she did that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I
Ooh.
don't know what I'm
Ooh.
viewing. I have she's done that
Can you do it for
minimum
other people?
me.
Yeah, could you like remote view and find out like during a missing time
There's
like that I had? Could you find out like what it
as long
was?
as as long as I don't know what I'm viewing and all I need is four numbers and that's all I would need. And
Would
I
you
could
do
find
that and
yeah.
see like what it
Yeah.
turned out? Okay,
Yeah.
let's okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you. All
Yeah.
right.
But as long as I don't know what I'm viewing, that's
Okay, no,
all.
I won't say anymore. Okay, cool.
Because even that's too much. Because everything we do is blind, right? You can't. And I know people say out there you can remote view blind or knowing what you're viewing. Um, being blind and doing blind, double blind or triple blind, that's the way to go. Because
Right.
that's the data you're going to get isn't going to be tainted in any fashion. You have to be a really good viewer not to be able to have data that's tainted, right?
Oh yeah, I bet.
So that's why even what you said, like if you give me 10 different numbers
Mm-hmm.
with 10 different things,
But I
and
don't
you
have to
eventually,
remember the exact date, do I? I just have to remember the incident. Is that
no, you
correct?
don't have to, no, that's fine.
Okay.
No, yeah, that'll be, yeah,
So I
yeah.
just so I'm when I think about the situation, tell me this again. I pick four numbers,
Yeah, here,
two.
you give me here. I'll give you an example. Give me 1418, and then right below that, give me 2151. Let's say that's my coordinates. That's all I
Okay.
need.
Okay,
That's
I
all
got
I'll
you.
need, and that is it. And
And
from that point on,
they only mean something to me, right? It's not
yeah,
like
you'll know
okay,
what the coordinates mean. I won't, clearly, right?
okay.
And whatever you, that's how we do remote. Like that's the only coordinate. That's what I get. Now I go
Hmm.
into a project, right? I don't know anything about the project that I'm viewing, like ever. Like we can't, right?
Wow.
And then we go into the project, we do our ideograms, and from the ideograms, which is our targets, that tells us. And by that time, after the second ideogram, you should be dialed in, and I should be on target. Like usually, I'm on target after the first or the second ideogram. And you do six, seven of those, and then you get into the structure, and then you get into the project itself. That's how it actually works. So there's a
That's
lot of
super
moving parts.
fascinating.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of dynamics that play into it. Like you got to remember, some like that project that I was telling you about for that magazine I did, right? That was
Mm-hmm.
4 hours. That was 4 hours long. I did that. So just think of the data that was collected with inside those 4 hours.
Wow.
I know,
Yeah, but I'm thinking
right?
might be another option because I think this sounds more reasonable because it's going to resonate with you. It's going to trigger than going and having regression done sometimes because it's so easy when you're in that vulnerable state. I feel like the power of suggestion is way too powerful. Way too powerful.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't trust, a situation after that. That's personal, like for me though.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah, yeah. That's your
But I was a
case.
therapist for 7 years, so I understand how easy it is to manipulate like the mind
Yeah,
and
that's
to
yeah.
affect the chemicals in people's brains and to put them in that sedative place. I mean, it
Well,
is that easy.
well, that's why we have to. You have to do remote viewing blind because you can't. There's no option, right?
Right, I get that.
'Cause, like if I'm doing a project that I'm doing for myself, like if I want to know here, I'll just give you one. I I did something in regards to Antarctica
Mm-hmm.
the other day.
Okay.
Now, and it was just a project I did by myself, right? So what I did was um, there were specific things that I wanted to know that I wrote on a piece of paper. Now, right? So I deducted everything to do with Antarctica, but you see, I was at that place, right? And the information that it produced while I was at that place was what was on my paper for the most part,
Sure.
not every detail. So, you got to be really strong not to let if you're doing by yourself, to let that dictate anything with inside the project, right?
Right.
Like you really got to be disciplined. Like it takes that takes practice to be able to do that before you can even do that. That's
It
not
is a
easy to
discipline.
do.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to
it is.
go,
Oh yeah,
layer by layer, and I'm sure it's different for
yeah,
everybody. But just
yeah.
so
It
is
is.
mediumship though. Like when I first started, I used to just see auras around people, and then it graduated from there. It just didn't start off where I was like seeing spirits.
No,
That wasn't my journey.
right.
Mine was it develops over
Yeah,
time.
it has to develop here. Where I remember I told you earlier when I worked, I did my 6,000 session and did the 6,001 session. The
Mm-hmm.
place that I worked after that 6,001 session, I didn't know existed. And
Wow.
that's after, I know, that's a true story. Like I didn't know that place existed, and it's changed within side of that yet, after that yet.
Wow.
So I know, like that's a story. That's true. That's
No, I
exactly
believe
what
you.
happened. Oh
You
yeah.
telling me like
No,
no, I
no,
believe you
yeah.
too. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's pretty
No,
amazing.
no. Because there's no
Yes.
benefit in making things up. There's just zero
No,
benefit
there is
in
no benefit in it
no,
whatsoever.
none,
It helps
none.
nobody. It does not help the
Nope,
facts. It does not help
nope,
understanding. It helps nothing. I'm with you on
nothing.
that. Nothing at
Yeah.
all.
So, I mean, so you think about,
People can have their stories can be good enough, and just like when I asked you like questions, you were very honest about it. Do you know how many people would have probably sat there and been like, "Oh yeah, no, no, no." I've watched people jump around. And I'm like, I don't think so because we're not going to have that understanding. We're not going to understand how unique it is, how
right?
subjective it
Yeah,
is. You
Yeah.
know, if people are going to
Yeah.
continue with the fisherman tales, they got to
Yeah.
stop. Their
Well, and
experience is good enough, you know?
there's enough out there. Like I've seen enough in my time to where, and it's not cool, man. It's not.
No, because
And that
it makes it harder on the rest of us who are really looking for these answers and who are really going
that's the
out here and
problem.
doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It gives us a bad reputation, which is something that we
Mhm.
don't need, being legitimate, right? The first thing I tell people is, if nobody will ever know what I do when I walk on the street. Nobody. You'll have to ask me. And most of the time, I'll start with I'm a remote viewer simply because then I don't have to have the mediumistic discussion, right? Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, really? Right? And it's like, so sometimes I'll tell,
Yeah, I
right?
know what you're saying.
I'll,
I know what
I'll,
you're saying.
I'll, and if they do ask me, I'll tell them I'm a medium, but this is what I also tell them. I make sure I tell them I'm a real medium, not something, because there's a lot of those out there. And trust me, I
Yeah.
know that. And I tell them that no, what you're going to get is going to be from the other side. Trust me.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, you know what? Like
Yeah.
I was trained with a few mediums, and I know they're filling in the blanks because you don't always get clear and concise. You have off days. It's they
Well,
stop communicating. There's things going on.
well, that's the difference between psychic and evidential. Every piece, evidentially, has to be from them to
Mm-hmm.
them. Nothing can be from me twisted in any way. Your client is the most important person because
Absolutely.
when they're talking about something, okay, that they did 3 weeks ago and they're presenting it, the client has to remember that. Or if they went back 6 years ago, what their brother did to them 6 years ago and they produce it, that's not produced by me. It's impossible for me to be able to produce that. There's no way. Now
Oh, you're like
you
a
do.
PI that can do it. Like this is wow. I mean,
That's evidential. That's
wow.
it takes the discipline to do that because it's not about connecting or dialing in. That it's not what it is. Like I have lots of people that come to me and they'll stay for say three sessions of, I don't know, or 2 sessions of 15 classes, let's say, and they
Mm-hmm.
think they're world class, right? Now, that's not even where it begins yet because the language they speak isn't English. So you got to understand that. That takes years to develop the understanding of, because they send stuff to me and they show it to me so I understand it. I produce it to the client so the client can understand it. Okay. So it's like this, like if you see King Kong on a building walking down the building, that could mean anything from a girlfriend to King Street to you need your toenails cut,
Yeah, right.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to also tell me. So within a 16th of a second, they'll give me 10 things to where I can produce the exact correct information for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that blending that's hard to do. It takes years to develop, right? It
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that's what evidential is. Evidential is facts they understand. So nothing can ever be twisted in any way
Mm-hmm.
because nothing can't be a guess. You can't guess
Right.
because it's going to be a no. There's one thing about mediumistic work. There's no no's in evidence. In mediumship, there's no no's. There's probably not a medium on the earth plane that's a, you've ever heard say that because there's no no's in mediumship. Like when a client sits across from you and gives you a no,
Yeah, you
no
know you
such.
dig deeper. Yeah.
Well, there's no no's. No, it goes way beyond that because now here, this goes back to, let's say a psychic's flat and they're just digging for stuff because they're not dialed in properly or they're not receiving or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case is, right?
God, I
And
feel like an
evident,
amateur next to you. Now I thought I did this my whole life. Keep going.
well,
Sorry.
no, it's just different types of mediumship. That's all you were doing, right? Here.
Mm-hmm.
But so now everything that I produce in that hour has to be something they understand because they're lots of people say they're the conduit. There's only about 50 of us on the airplane that actually are the conduit, right?
Right.
You got to be able to produce for an hour, and they're talking to them through me. Not they're Tim's not part of the session,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is where the physical mediumship takes hold because they'll say stuff and they'll say jokes. Their sense of humor will come through me while I'm in session. They'll say specific words while I'm in session. That's physical mediumship. That goes on with inside the session, right? They also control the pen. This is one of my sessions, right? And they control the pen. They do all that.
So it's
That
like
all has
automatic writing in a way, or
no, it's not. No, it's not. That's something complete. This isn't legible.
Okay.
This is how they speak to us because they don't speak English, right? So the terminology they speak. So they'll put stuff on
Okay,
here that'll mean.
So okay, maybe I missed this. So you're saying you're gone, right? Whoever's interpreting this doesn't speak the same language, so that's why the symbols are being written down.
I don't.
Is that
No such thing. Symbols are on the side of an alien spacecraft. We don't use symbols.
no? But you're
I,
saying
I,
in a different language or a different
they'll
dialect. I
they'll
guess.
they'll produce stuff so I understand it, right?
Mhm.
And then I'll have to produce it for my clients so they understand it. So I got to
Fascinating.
remember, like they don't speak English, so they'll produce it. But from this pen, I'll get 10 things from within inside that pen that I've got to instantaneous, and that's like there's no time there. So a 16th of a 16th of a 16th of a second is as quick as it comes, and I have to understand all that in a 16th of a second to where I can produce it to the client to where it's a sentence or whatever. That's
Ooh, you took this to a whole new level. Yeah. Wow.
That's what I mean. Like that's what I mean about the 6,000. That wasn't kidding. Like now, for anybody to explain that to you, you can't make that up because I do that in every session.
Yeah, you
Right?
do a lot of work. Yeah, no, that's
So
wow.
but that goes on for an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they produce something for a client, let's say, and the client says no, or they can't understand what, let's say, brother's saying or dad's saying to them, and it's a no, I tell them just remember that, or I let them record if they care to. It's most important that they do record because they won't remember everything that's in the session because they produce so much, right?
Right.
So, and then they'll go home and they'll think about it. And then they'll get back. Like this phone's full of stuff people have got back months later. Like it's already gone back to information that was produced in a session for clients has gone back to a year and a half in the future for them already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they've produced that. And I've had a year and a half is the furthest it's gone for me. Yeah.
Wow.
And so anything that they produce, I always make sure and tell them, please don't forget it. Because there's one thing about them. If they're sending information, they don't play games. They're not bullshit. They're not sending information for shits and giggles, right? They're producing it for you from them, right? It's not a game.
So
it's
is it
real.
coming from our loved ones in a different dimension?
Yes. Because I connect to them. I identify with them with how they look, their personality, what they used to do, and then it's on. I don't know when it's on because then it's on. Then the session begins. Once the identifying stops, and it's always my benefit because I can see them, so it's easy to identify. It's just like you're sitting in front of me, Nicole, and of course you got blonde hair, and then it'll go into certain things about you that they would know. Right? That's how we identify. And usually that happens within the first minute, 30 seconds, to where you can get 6 to 10 things within the first minute, right? To where you can move on into the session. Now they control the whole session. I'm just relaying the information. So I'm not the one who controls what's next. So once it starts, it's on. Like what I mean by that is they'll go into what they did yesterday. They'll go into what they did last week. They'll go into certain things like that. And then they'll start talking about the things that they want to know. Right. That's what it is.
So this is a whole different type of discipline. Like
yeah,
you're saying,
it
like,
is.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a completely different animal, right? Because nothing comes from me like, right? That's the difference between psychic and evidential. It's a big difference. It's night and day, right?
Ooh.
It's just different. Like it.
Once you go there, you can't go back. Your brain's there. Yeah.
I know. That's why, like here now, you got to remember that. Like now, you had the other discipline of scientific remote viewing, and you can manipulate, and you can use that as well with inside your session if you need to in mediumistic work, right?
Wow.
So yeah, it gets heavy, like it really does. And this is what I do every session, and so yeah, it gets
that
pretty
has
deep.
to
And
just suck the living like life out of you.
it's not like that. No, you got to remember, I'm connected properly. The only time that it sucks the life out of you, that's one of the 3 questions I get asked the most, is that, are you drained after? No, I'm not drained after, because I'm connected properly. And if I'm connected properly after 10 readings, I can still go out and I don't drink, but I could still go out and do whatever I wanted to do.
Sure.
I don't have to rush home to sleep. Mind you, that, I mean, now it is because I'm not young anymore.
You're only as old as you feel. Time is an illusion. And if you were living in Ethiopia, you would be 7 years younger. So somewhere.
I like that. But so no, right. So, and I do sessions back to back, right? So, but that's not, you got to train to do that. It's not something that just happens, right?
So
but as
who did you mentor under? Who taught you this? I mean, this is some serious, like,
nobody taught me what I do now. The main structure was taught by somebody overseas. Paul Jacobs is his name, and he was taught under Gordon Higginson, and that's old school, real mediumship. Physical mediumship, evidential mediumship. Very few people can do the evidential because it's too hard. It's too structured. It's not too hard. It just takes so long to learn it, right?
Do you teach it, like, or do you take like
I teach it. I do actually. I do. I taught a class
you do?
last
Can
night.
I apply for this? I think this could take
Yeah.
a whole new, like, next level, like, here.
It does, but it's extremely difficult. As long as you're willing.
I love a challenge. I love a challenge.
That, yeah. Now
I learned, I was a part of the Hetlau movement, where I learned how in acronym, like, I mean, we were communicating and breaking, and I went through all of that, just,
Okay.
So that's the kind of person I am. I'm in.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah. You got to remember, I warn everybody. I do the same thing to everybody. I say
they
it's
warned
not
me
easy.
too. No,
Okay.
they told me, they said, you better be careful if you really want to know the truth, because this is a path and a journey you will mostly walk alone.
Yeah,
and you can't undo it. And then that is like, at first I was like, oh, really? Like, who wouldn't want to go and know the truth? And then I thought, I saw with him.
You be careful what you live for. That statement holds true.
I gotta know. I'm just one of those people. I have to know. I have to know.
Yeah. I had a lady come up to me actually, and she's a developing medium, and she asked me, how do you, and I won't even get into how do you work for certain individuals and with the remote viewing. And I told her, I said, I didn't tell her, I was gracious enough not to hurt her feelings, because it takes years to develop, and most people don't want to hear what it takes 10 years to develop this. See, Paul never taught me where I work now. I developed there, or they developed me there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. Yes.
He gave me the structure. I put in the time to where, and I'm not taking anything away from it, but it's fact. It just
no,
is.
Even with ET, when I first started, if you asked me going back within the first year what I thought the veil was, or what I thought any of this, you're going to get a totally different. It evolves. It evolves.
To the individual, right? So why they took me to the place to where I work now, I don't know, but that's where I work. That's it. So,
wow.
But it is. And it's super cool, and it's an experience, and you got to be humble, because sometimes, man, you get into some sessions that are extremely difficult.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like here, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this scenario, right? Like, you'll have a third. This is how I explain it. It's not always the case where you have a third that's, the session is so easy, and then you have a third. Well, the session was good, right? It was good, but it was challenging points with
Right.
inside the session. And then you have those, a third, that are just like, man, that was just brutal. That was just hard. It
Oh
was
yeah.
hard, right? So, right. So those things apply too, right? So, because they do, and it's not by choice. You got to remember, like, this is also something that I haven't touched or told or offered up this opinion of mine. They prep you your whole life for this. This
Yes,
isn't
they
something
do.
that it just walks in the door for you.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I
It
1000% believe that.
because if I can work with Billy Bob Biker and I can work with a murderer whose sister wants to talk to the murderer that's on the other side, and I've done that numerous times, just a regular session, not looking for a murder kit or anything like that, or working with the sweetest grandma in the world
Mm-hmm.
and everybody in between. What they did my whole life to prep me for this was that. That's why the prep work started a long time ago. It didn't just start in class, in mediumistic school. It didn't start there. That was your development for this work, but they developed you prior to
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's how I look at it, because
Every life
otherwise,
experience, I said, prepares you for what is to come.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I believe in.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah,
1000%. Because I'm like, you know what? I'll always just, I've been preparing for this since I was 4 years old. I just didn't realize what I was preparing for.
100%. That's exactly it. That is it. That is. See, and I don't take the I away from there, because the I's ego. It's they.
Mm-hmm.
They develop you. It's not Tim develops himself. Tim puts in the work, but it's like
No,
when
I
people
have
say,
nothing to do. Yeah, it's
yeah,
obviously like,
yeah,
it evolves. It came from somewhere. I didn't
yeah,
understand. But yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And remember, we were talking about the different types of, like, the soda pop and the can and
Mm-hmm.
right. They did that for those individuals, right?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's how
Yeah.
I look at it, right? And when
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
says you have gifts, gifts are under the tree. We have abilities given to us by the other side. That's who gives us our abilities. It's not about gifts is an ego thing. It's about, right.
I call them a superpower because I
Yeah,
said, I don't know what I said. You go through, it's like a give
yeah,
and take. Like I drove with a
sure.
dead man, and from there, I had some abilities of time
Yeah,
dilation that it's like you get I said it's kind
yeah.
of like a superpower. That's all I can
You
describe it as.
you're so down to earth. You can handle that because it's authentic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can, like, authenticity comes from within, right? You can
I
tell
agree.
somebody's authenticity quite quickly, right? Uh, and,
Yes, absolutely. I think so.
and with you, that's just normal. That's just vocabulary for you, right?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that's how I would look at it. Honestly, that's how I would look at it.
No,
Because
it is though. You're
yeah,
right. You're right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah,
I've never had
and
anyone read me like that before. I was like, wow,
yeah,
no, that's exactly how it is.
yeah.
I said
It is what
that's
it
been
is.
my reality.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand what it would be like not to be able to do that or not to be able
Well,
to see that.
the depth of your understanding and what you know and what you've been through, that's why you can do that, because you're the farthest thing. And the people you have on you, like, just the knowledge that you get on the show that's produced, I mean, that's why being humble, such as you have to be, is you, right?
Yeah, oh,
Anything you're going to
yes.
say is going to be just like more of a joke than anything. Ah,
Right. Right. No,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, it
Absolutely. I
is.
get that. Yeah.
It's a true story, right? You can tell that. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And that I think was the hardest part about being a therapist for me when I felt like you're your own best expert and I was manipulating. I don't like the feeling of, of, being, of not being authentic and genuine. I do not like pretending to be somebody else. For me, it makes me like break out into hives. Like it goes against every part of my being for whatever reason. I
Yeah.
get very uncomfortable when I'm around people who are not being authentic and genuine. I get very, very uncomfortable around that.
Yeah.
I can handle like any sort of crazy you want to throw my way as long as it's coming from that place, you know, that
Correct.
good place. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive to that. Very
Yeah.
sensitive to that.
I have to say most people like yourself and people who do the work are,
That's
because they don't
interesting.
want
Yeah.
no because they don't want no part of that. Not interested.
No, absolutely not. I want no part of it at
Yeah.
all.
It's a waste of our time.
It
It's a waste.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
waste of time. It
Yeah.
drives me crazy. I'm like, we could be doing something else. It's disruptive.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and it, like you said, you know, you might go and walk away from something for 3 days and you're like getting back into it, you can still do it, but there's still, it's like, once that routine is interrupted or that, you know, it does kind of slow things up a little bit.
Sure
And
it
that's your
does.
progression. That's your, you
Mhm.
know, so that's amazing. But so I would like to definitely do a part 2. I would love to hear what you find out. And thank you so much for coming on tonight. This has been a wonderful show, really eye-opening for me, and I can see chat. Yeah, you've really brought forth a lot of things and clarity that I didn't.
Cool.
I thought I had a pretty good grasp on it, but wow, good for you. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you asking me to be here. The pleasure was all mine.
I'm glad we got it all figured out. So tell them where they can find you, where my audience can find you.
You can find me at I'm on all social media platforms. timmedium.com is my webpage. That's my business page. Facebook is Tim Medium. Instagram is Tim Medium. Everything that I can think of is Tim Medium. And I'm there.
And then so timmedium.com, does that have all the links like to your
Yeah.
social medias and stuff like that too? Okay,
It
cool.
has my number, it has my emails, it has the links to everything, it has all the information you might be interested in.
Really quickly. Somebody asked before and I forgot. What did you find in Antarctica? So we can't let you go until, sorry, Jonathan. What did you find when you remote viewed Antarctica?
Okay, now you got to remember, I'm looking for specific things when I'm in Antarctica, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the specific thing that I was looking for was the biggest alien base in Antarctica. And that's where it was. And I got to the base and I got to what was inside the base, because you have to describe the base. And then I got to, it's not just alien base. You got to remember, we're working side by side with them inside the base. Those things are all produced with inside the session. Now, yeah, there's more there. I would have to go through some of my stuff to produce more information for the nice individual who asked about it, because
do you ever take like other like requests from people, like if I don't know, like somebody like I know there's a couple different things I guess I have, like is there can people like hire you or can people to remote view? I don't know, is this like a thing?
I'm for hire. Yeah, I do this for a living. I'm a professional remote viewer and a professional evidential medium. It's like this: if somebody wants to solve a murder case, they seem to gravitate, or they send them to me. It's not something I look for. I've never sent anything away to do anything such as that. And it's like this: it's like when you have the same individual contact you for this many of those, you can understand who it probably is, right?
Yeah. So what if we did just to see how like remarkable this is? How like if I had a couple different coordinates from different people, just random people that picked
Doesn't
from
matter.
like the audience, how
Yeah.
long would it take you to like? Would that be too extensive? Like of
No, that's my job. That's what I do.
So you would like I could
Isn't
3 of them or whatever, and I could have like people just draw whatever at random, and then have those we send you those coordinates and bring you back on, and then see what you
Yep.
find.
just yep.
Oh, that would be fun.
That's it. All I need is the coordinates. I don't need anything else.
Okay.
And then from that point on, I just go about my business. and do with what we do, right?
Right,
And
right,
and then I get to the target, I do my thing, right?
right.
So it doesn't matter who the coordinates are from, because if you're working for, whether you're working espionage, or whether you're working for a doctor, or whether you're working for a mom and dad who are looking for their daughter somewhere, it doesn't matter. The coordinates are the coordinates, and that's how you find. Yeah,
Oh, this is fast. This is gonna be fun. I
yeah,
know. Yeah, I know exactly what we're gonna do. Well,
yeah.
in closing, thank you so much for coming on. We're definitely coming, bringing you back. What would you like to leave the audience with today?
I I probably talk too much, and
No,
sorry.
you don't. You're great. You're great.
I had a lot of fun tonight, and of course, I don't get to see anybody or anything. But thanks for joining this lovely lady, and thanks for coming back
Oh,
and listening to her show all the time.
oh, that was so nice. Yeah, we want to thank you. So, we're gonna be bringing you back, and like I said, I look forward to. You're one person where I think, gosh, I could learn a wealth of information, and what you're doing, keep doing it, and keep doing it the way that you do, because that's awesome. That you just kicked this up to like hyper gear. Good for you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yes,
I
thank
appreciate it.
you. I mean,
Uh,
you're taking and you're paving the way for a lot of us. Like that's some pretty profound work right there. So, thank you for that.
I'm, yeah, you're very welcome. I thank them for that because they're the ones that let me do it. That's for me.
That's
That's how it works.
amazing.
But
Yeah,
I thank you for letting me be on your show. It was cool.
awesome, awesome. Okay, well, we'll let you get going for tonight. And yeah, I just wanted to say, there's a few people I'm going to be reaching out to you in chat. So I think that you're probably a good person for this. So we're going to put together three random people, think of something, and coordinates, like you said, like 2 rows of four. And like I said, Jonathan, DM me please on Facebook. And anybody else, like if you're interested in doing this, like, reach out to me. If you don't want to put it on here, reach out to me and we can go from there. And I think I'm absolutely like so intrigued and just I want to learn so much. I'm like, wow, that was exciting. Anyway, everybody, I really appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully, the holidays are being kind to everybody. I saw Andrew Rollins. Andrew, if you guys don't know who Andrew is, I'm really sentimental with him. When I first started these ET experiences, it was Andrew and me and Ricky. And we like three, we used to kind of like support one another through it, and it was really cool. So Andrew, um, thank you. Like you always have. And two, Andrew, I'm gonna get together, just so you know. Also, you guys, I want to think what you think about Kurt W75 possibly coming on here and doing another show. Because Kurt, I think that you should really come back on. And I'm not putting you on the spot or anything. But I thought maybe if you heard from your peers how much, because I actually got a few really, really nice um well, not D-mails, DMs, saying, Kurt, you did a really good job, so you should definitely come back on. So, yes, William, thank you so much. And we are on Channel 12 tomorrow night. We'll be streaming with Rock and Randy Stewart. And if you haven't met Rock and Randy yet, you really should, because you never know what's going to come out. But we're going to do a little New Year's, I think it's shindig, like it's going to kick off probably around 10. I believe Rock and Randy, I wish you were here for the details, but I think everybody's going to be streaming on their channel, so that will be fun. But it won't be one of the typical shows that I do. So, and again, I just wanted to, oh, thank you, John. That's really nice. Everybody has been wonderful in chat, and yes. So it's always a pleasure, and I will be back on Friday night. I have a show at 7 and at 9, and then yeah, we have some more exciting news and guests coming up. So until then, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown with SNX Radio. I'm Coley, and may you all stay warm out there because we're getting hit with like blizzard conditions here. But yeah, stay warm, safe, and I mean, don't get caught. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But we'll just leave it at that.
SNX Radio invites you to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos with us as we dive into UFOs, cryptids, and everything otherworldly. As we navigate the night, we investigate the unknowns that spark our curiosity and challenge our understanding of reality.